All right, recording is rolling. It is Friday, February 23rd. We're going to continue on this SAT solutions. You guys have this SAT grid out. Got to do that, right? So we need to hit number 20 from section 3 and then go right into section 4. Okay. Now, I just gave you guys a paper for the project we're going to do after all this SAT stuff. So we're going to do SAT today, SAT Monday. This SAT stuff might go into Tuesday even to go over those answers, right? Of course, your actual SAT test day is going to be Tuesday, March 5th. So keep that in mind too. That's like the real deal, right? But on the intervening time, I gave you guys paper that looks like this. So let's look at this. Right? No, I'm really just giving you guys this ahead of time. So, you know, it's kind of, you have at least a few days to think about this, right? Have you guys in teams putting together a presentation. So I'm gonna have you guys create just a 5-minute presentation. Now I'm saying PowerPoint, but really it could be anything adjacent to that. So if you want to do Prezi, if you want to do Google Slides, if you want to do something just kind of in that ballpark format, right? On how one of the following, I have a list here of discoveries or technologies was either discovered or invented, like what's the story behind it, and how did that impact society, right? Give you guys a whole list of topics here. If there's something you'd be super excited to present that's not on the list, then let me know. I'll probably okay it, right? So how do I want you to put this together? So you and your teammates, let's go down this points rubric. I want you guys to use an AI program to just create the initial presentation. So go online, find an AI program, say like create blah, blah, blah presentation, right? But then what I want you guys to do is go back and fact check each of the slides, make sure that all the information is accurate, find some sources where you can actually back everything up, right? Make any modifications that you want to do. So maybe AI takes the story in a certain direction, like, yeah, I don't really want to, here guys, folks, maybe like I don't really want to go that particular direction with the story, or maybe mention something that is factually incorrect, so you have to fix that. So you're allowed to make whatever modifications you want to make, right? You can import new facts that API that maybe AI didn't mention. You can bring in maybe photographs or pictures to your presentation that maybe AI didn't put there in the first place. That's okay too, right? Oh, speaking of images, if any images are produced by AI, then clearly label them as by AI, right? So right now, you know, we're at a point where you can still kind of tell on the internet what's AI and what's not, but it's getting really close to the point that like next year it'd probably be impossible to tell like what's actual photograph versus what's AI, right? So it's probably good practice about this point to start, you know, clearly specifying what's AI and what's not, right? On the final slide, include all the sources that you use to verify all your presentation information. Also specify what AI program that you use, and include all your team members' names in the presentation. Okay. Okay, and then when you guys have this finished, again, I'll probably give you guys 1.5, 2 class periods to work with your teammates and put this together. Okay. Once you have your final presentation, go ahead and email it to me. There's my school email. Right? If it's a link, like if it's a Google Slides and there's just a link, you can just email me the link. That's okay. And then I will pull that up on this projection and have you guys present one group at a time. Right? So then you guys can give your presentation class. Right? So you guys get that? What's going on? Great. Again, just giving you guys this a little bit ahead of time so you can think about this for a few days, and then I'll have you guys in teams sometime next week, put this together, and then eventually present that. Okay, so you guys get there? Okay. All right, let's look at SAT solutions. SAT. All right, we're back here. Now, I remember yesterday, we did the first 19, the bell rang. So let's hit number 20 real fast on section 3. Last one. They got that minus that is equivalent to that. Okay, so you can just say equals. And C cannot be 3 over 2, because if it was, you'd be divided by 0. What is the value of x? Right, so I see C's and I see an x. Right, so what is that x? So let's do 4C plus 1 all over 2C minus 3 quantity squared, right, minus 2 over 2C minus 3. Right, I'm going to leave a space here. You'll see why in a minute if you don't see already. Okay. And that's equal to, because it says equivalent to, so I'll just say equals, x over 2C minus 3 quantity squared. right? So that's what they give you. Right? Now, do you guys see that there's 3 different terms and they almost have the same denominator, but not quite? Because this middle one, if only it was squared. You guys see that? Right? Yeah. Now, there's probably one of 2 different things you're thinking to get a common denominator so that I can go forward and finish this question and solve for x. Right? Should I, let me give you guys 2 options. One of these is going to be correct and one of these is incorrect. You guys tell me which is correct. Okay. Should I multiply top and bottom by 2c minus 3 to get a common denominator? Or should I just take this middle term and square it to get the common denominator? Because both of those would give you common denominator, but only one of them is the correct way to do it. Which way? Huh? How many of you guys say the first way? First way. Yeah, first way. Right. Here, I'm going to do that. All right, yeah, you guys got it. Oh, yeah. So 2c minus 3 over 2c minus 3. Right. Now, why? Right. Because when I do that in pink ink, do you guys see I'm technically multiplying by 1? Which means I'm not actually changing the premise of the question. Right? I'm just doing something so that I can get a common denominator. Versus if you did the other things, if you squared that term, now you're changing the premise of the question because now you're saying that's something different that you're subtracting. Okay, right? So you got to do it this way. The other way is totally wrong. Okay? All right, so let's do that. So again, 4c plus 1 from here minus 2 by 2c. That's like 4c. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, and I have a minus negative 6. I'm going to turn around and call that a plus 6. Is that okay? Minus 2 times negative 3 is plus 6. Right? Right. I got an x over here. And now all these terms have the same denominator. But it doesn't matter what that is, because I can just focus on the numerator to finish it off. Right? Okay? You guys got that premise? Right, so all this scratchy scratch is just 2c minus 3 squared. Right, so, 7. And since this is not multiple choice, you had to write down the number 7, and then on the actual SAT, you would bubble in the number 7. Okay, the answer is 7. Okay. How many guys got 7? 7. Oh yeah, winners. All right, so you guys good on section 3? That rounds out section 3. You guys ready for section 4? Section 4. You guys still scoring yourselves on down the line. Section 4. Oh, now you're allowed to use a calculator. Section 3 was no calculator. Now we got calculator. Hey, look, they give you the same geometry formulas as before. Properties of circles, areas of different shapes, volumes. Okay, so that's nice. Some special right triangles going on. Right, Pythagorean theorem. Right, so maybe I can remember. Got that if you did. Number 1, Sam's special hot chocolate recipe calls for 4.5 fluid ounces of cream for every serving of hot chocolate. How many cups of cream are needed to make 24 servings of hot chocolate? And in parentheses, 1 cup is 8 fluid ounces. Ooh, I think I'm going to solve this with dimensional analysis. This is one of the first skills that I was showing you guys in this class that hopefully you actually learned in chemistry. And this was just a little bit of a review for this class. So set up some railroad tracks. Now, I'm going to use the target value of 24 servings as the starting value. So 24 servings of special hot chocolate. No, I need to hunt around for a ratio that connects to servings. And I do see here, there's 4.5 fluid ounces of cream for every 1 serving. So I'm going to do every 1 serving here is 4.5 ounces of cream, right? Just like that, right? And down here in parentheses, they said 1 cup is 8 ounces. So 1 cup is 8 ounces, right? And now, I see I'm going to get some number in terms of cups, right? And the question was, how many cups? So calculator time. Just multiply across the top, divide across the bottom. 24 times 4.5 divided by 8. I'm looking at 13.5 cups. 13.5 cups, which is option D. Number 1 is D. You guys got number 1 is D? Yes. Number 1 is D. Oh, yeah. You guys ready for number 2? Number 2. Percent of music sold as CDs by year. Percent of music sold, year, and curve. According to the line graph, between which two consecutive years was there a greatest change in percent of music sold as compact discs? Right? And conveniently, the vertical axis is percent of music sold. All right, so we're just looking for the greatest change. You guys see a big drop off between these 2 years?
Oh yeah.
06 to 07. Is that option C? Is 2C?
Mhm.
Number 2 is C. You guys got number 2 is C.
Yep.
All right, getting these right. Number 2 is C. Number 3. X and G of X. So a table of values. They're giving us these 3 coordinates. Some values of a linear function. Hey, so they're making a claim right here that these coordinates lined up in a straight line are shown in the table above. Which of the following defines G? And all their answer choices are showing linear equations. Okay? Now, I could think of a lot of these. There's multiple ways to solve these. One way you could solve it is you could find what's the slope between 2 points, and then find a y-intercept, and then make it look like find which answer choice agrees with that, right? But sometimes it's a little bit faster to play off the answer choices and just see like which one of these clears the test, right? So I want to do that method because sometimes it's a little bit faster and that'll save you time and that'll boost your score, right?
Track team, please go to the football field for track pictures. Track team, please go to the football field for track pictures.
All right, everybody on a track team? All right. So let's try this out. So y equals 2x plus 7. Well, let me pick how about this last coordinate? 623. If I plug in 6 for x, guys, what's 2 times 6? 12.
Yeah.
Plus 7 is what's 12 plus 7? 19. All right. Well, it's not 23. All right. So option A fails. Option B, 3x plus 5. Guys, what's 3 times 6? You're allowed to use a calculator. Right, 18. 18 plus 5 is 23. Hey, okay, so that does work. Now, you want to be careful that it's not some random line that happens to cross through 1 point. So let's check the other points. 417. Guys, what's 3 times 4? 12. What's 12 plus 5? Hey. And last one, just to be super sure, what's 3 times 2?
6.
Plus 5?
11.
B. 3 is B. 3 is B. Number 4. A souvenir store sells postcards and magnets. Each postcard costs $1. Each magnet costs $3. Anna Lee purchased a total of, all right, I think this is worded kind of funny. They're trying to say 10 items, a total of 10 items, right? Which includes a combination of postcards and magnets. Right? That's what we're trying to say, right? For a total cost of $22 before tax. How many magnets did she purchase? So I'm going to set this up with a system of equations. I'm going to say postcards plus magnets equals 10 items total. That's one of your equations, right? So 2 equations. One equation for the items, the other equation for the money spent in dollars, right? So the other equation is going to go $1 per postcard times the number of postcards plus $3 per magnet times the number of magnets adds up to $22. Right now I could put dollar signs on those, but that unit would just cancel out because it's on all 3 terms. Right. So this is your system of equations right here. System of equations. Right. You guys get that? Right. Got a money equation. I got an items equation. Right. And the question is how many magnets? So we're solving for m. I set 2 equations, 2 unknowns. That is solvable. Right? Now, you could solve this with substitution, or you could use elimination. Those are 2 methods. Right? You could even use a matrix if you like that. Right? I'm going to use elimination. Right? Here's why. Because if I subtract one equation from the other equation, what immediately happens to postcards? It goes away. P minus P just goes away. So 3m minus 2m, or sorry, 3m minus m is 2m. 22 minus 10, that's like 12. Right? Okay, and what I'm solving for, well, that's the only variable left. Divide by 2, 6. Right? 6 magnets. 6 magnets. Right? For that matter, how many postcards? 4 postcards, because the number of items add up to 10. Right? Or you could play around with the money equation a bit. That would also give you the same answer. Right? So 4 is D. 6 magnets, 4D. You guys getting 4D? All right, everybody good so far? You guys good? Everybody doing good? All right. Next one, number 5. If 7 times x minus y is equal to 4, then what is x minus y? Oh, can you just divide down the 7? Is that 4 over 7? Is that A? Is 5 A?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Winner. 5 is A. That's it. All right. 5 is A. You guys good? Number 6. The average annual precipitation in Orlando is 13/10 of the precipitation in Columbus. Okay, now pause right there. All right. See if you guys are following. What if it rained 10 inches in Columbus? How many inches in Orlando? 13. Yeah. Right. So it's raining more. It's more rainy in Orlando, right? The precipitation in St. Cloud is 7/10 of Columbus. Okay. So it looks like we're comparing everything to Columbus. Right. Orlando is wet. Columbus is the middle. St. Cloud is dry. Right. The average annual precipitation in Columbus is, oh, look at that, a nice even 1,000 millimeters. Approximately how many more millimeters in Orlando compared to St. Cloud? Right? Right. So let's throw some numbers down on paper. We know there's very conveniently 1,000 millimeters exactly in Columbus. Orlando is 13/10 of that. So how many millimeters in Orlando? 1,300 millimeters Orlando. Great. How many millimeters in St. Cloud? What's 7/10 of 1,000? 700. Right. So here's the rainfall in Orlando. Here's the rainfall in St. Cloud. And the question is, how many more millimeters in Orlando compared to St. Cloud? Oh, and so we're looking for a difference, right? You guys think 600 millimeters?
I agree.
Oh yeah, that is A. 6 is A. You guys got 6 is A?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Number 7. Which of the following is an equivalent form of ooh? Right. I see stuff being squared. There's stuff in parentheses. There's can you do exponent rules? Can you do FOIL? Can you distribute this negative? Right. So do you know algebra rules? Right. So let's go through this whole thing. I'll rewrite this. Number 7. I got 2.6a. You can change that to x if you want. Right? Minus 3.5. Right. Now they're saying squared. I'm gonna write that a little bit expanded here. So 2.6a minus 3.5. Right. So same thing. Right? Then minus, and then in parentheses 7.3a squared minus 4.1. Okay, just like that. Oh, guys, this square right here. Does this square apply to the 7.3 and the a, or just the a? Yeah, just the a, right? Just the a. Right. So this whole stuff over here, I'm gonna FOIL, FOIL. I can do first, outside, inside, last. You can do that, right? So 2.6a times 2.6a. That's 6.76a squared, right? Then outside, inside, 2.6 times negative 3.5, and then the inside is identical, so say times 2. Right? I'm going negative 18.2a, and negative 3.5 times negative 3.5, the negative goes away. That's plus 12.25. Right, you guys got okay so far? I just foiled out that whole expression. Right. Then minus, ooh, can I distribute that negative? So I'm subtracting 7.3a squared. Then I'm going to turn around and add 4.1. Right? Distribution. Right, guys good? Right. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms, and some of these are like this a squared term. So let's put those together. What is 6.76 minus 7.3? That is negative 0.54. So that's a squared. Right. There's only one a term, so I'll just leave that guy alone. So negative 18.2a. Right. There's 2 constants. That looks like what? 16.35, I think. Is that right? Right. Right. So let's see if there's an answer choice that says that. Hey, it's right here. D. Number 7 is D. 7D. You guys getting 7D? Okay. 7D. Number 8. The American Association of University Women hopes to expand its reach starting T student organizations on college campuses each year. Ooh, right. That's a little bit abstract. If you want to pop in a number like 3 new organizations each year, maybe that'll help you think about this. So T organizations each year, right? There were S organizations in the beginning of 2015. So that'd be like our base year 0. Which function best models the total number of organizations Y they would have X years after 2015? So we got these 4 variables floating around. X is the number of years passing, Y is the number of organizations at the end of each of these years. S, I'm going to think like the sort of like a y-intercept, right? So the starting number, and T is how many organizations we're adding every year. You guys see this is going to become Y equals MX plus B, right? Y equals MX plus B, right? Is that true? Right. So the number of organizations, right? Well, every year we're adding on T new organizations. That's like taking place of the slope. X is the number of years, so keep that as like independent variable, right? And we started with S organizations. So I think that's the answer right there, right? It's like that. Right, so let me get a graph for you guys, right, if you want to see a picture. So Y organizations as a function of X years, right? I bet that's going to create a graph that looks something like this, where we started off with S organizations in year 0, which is 2015, right? And then every single year that passes, we're adding on a T organization, so slope of T, right? So we're adding T and then T and then T and then T. Okay, think about that. That looks like option C. Did you guys get 8 is C? 8 is C. All right, 8C. Okay. You guys got questions about any of these? Are these all right? It's working out. Number 9. Resistance R in a conductor is found by dividing voltage V across the current I through the conductor. Which of the following gives voltage in terms of resistance R and current I? Okay. This is a physics question. You guys are going to see this in this class in a few weeks. We're going to do some electric circuits. We're going to use the exact same symbols. So let's see, they're telling you right here, resistance R, you can find by dividing voltage V. In physics, we'll call that a voltage drop, like a voltage change rate. Do you guys know how many volts are in a AA battery? Yeah, 1.5. Yeah, all right. Yeah, you guys know that. And then divide that by current I. Right? We'll use the same symbol. Current is going to be capital I. Right? So that's what they spelled out to you. It'd be a AA battery, 1.5 volts right there. Right? Okay. And then which of the following gives the voltage in terms of resistance and current? So they're saying solve for V. Hey, can you just cross multiply the I? Is that V equals IR? Is that what that would be? Voltage is current times resistance, which is option D. Number 9 is D. You guys got number 9 is D? All right. Number 10. In 1893, Major League Baseball pitching distance from the pitcher's plate to home base was increased from 50 feet to 60.5 feet. Right. Side note here, I was reading somewhere on the internet where everything is true that supposedly, I don't know, maybe this was true, that they said, well, let's increase it from 50 to 60 feet. And somebody had like really sloppy handwriting. They wrote 60 feet, 0 inches. But, you know, if you don't write the 0 right, it might look like a 6. Yeah. So turn to 6 inches as we get 60.5 feet. I don't know. That might be true. Right. Sounds possible. Which of the following is closest to the increase in pitching distance in meters? Oh, and then the parentheses here. 1 meter, they're calling approximately 3 feet. Okay. So let's start with this. Guys, what was the increase in feet? 10.5, 10.5, right? So I'm gonna, in my calculator, write 10.5, right? So that's the answer in feet that it increased, right? Now I need to convert to meters. So do you want to multiply or divide by 3? How about this? Guys, look at the floor tiles. Is every floor tile 1 foot? So can you guys imagine like about 10 and a half of those, right? And then how about this meter stick? Is this 1 meter? How many meter sticks is about 10 or 11 floor tiles? Ooh, right? Yeah. It should be about 3 of these meter sticks pretty close to, right? Right. But it's definitely not like 30 meter sticks. Right. So let's go back to this. 10.5 feet. Do you want to divide by 3 or multiply by 3 to get the number of meter sticks? Divide. Definitely divide. Right. If you set up a dimensional analysis table with the railroad tracks and got the unit straight, it would lead you to the same outcome. You say, okay, I want to divide by 3 feet per meter to convert to meters. 3.5. Do you guys see option A? 10 is A. You guys have 10 is A? Right. Now, side thought here. There is actually a more accurate answer, right? How many guys said the conversion from meters to feet is not a ratio of 3, it's 3 point what? 3.28, right? And then a little bit here, right? If you want an exact ratio, then there's 2.54 centimeters and an inch, and you can kind of work it from there, right? So this is rounded a tiny bit, right? So a bit more accurate, right? So the actual answer is like 3.2 meters, which looks a lot closer to B. If you chose B, that's actually more accurate than the answer, but they're given points for option A. So what I guess the takeaway is, you get the AP exam. If they tell you something like this, go ahead and use their conversion rather than maybe something you learned in class. Okay? All right, you guys go. Number 11. All right, so 10 was A. Number 11. Oh, ooh, get a table here. Let's look at this table. We got area of focus, pediatric, adult, and total. Highest level of education, master's, doctorate, and total. So it's basically a 2x2 table, and it's extended to include total values. Right, you guys got that? Okay. So lots of people in each of those quadrants. And a survey, 529 social workers, focusing on pediatric or adult, indicated their highest level of education. One of the social workers is selected at random. Ooh, sounds like a probability question they got lined up here, right? Which of the following is closest to the probability that the selected social worker is a pediatric social worker whose highest level of education is doctorate? Are you guys looking at these 221 people right here? That's pediatric doctor, right? Out of 529, right? Should I do 221 out of 529? Right? Is that what I'm looking for? Right? So there's 529 people, and the target is like, well, what's the chances one of these 221, right? Right? So about 41%, you guys think? About 41%? Right, so 0.41 something. Is that option B? Is 11 B? Right, 11 is B, right? 11 B. I like to chase down a bunch of side questions too. So what if they reordered the question a little bit? What if they said, what's the chance that you get either pediatric or a doctorate degree? What would you do? I would add up these 3 quadrants right here, 157, 221, and 22, because it would be a union rather than an intersection question now, right? And then divide that by 5.9, right? Which, by the way, is not one of the answer choices, so you couldn't really make that mistake. All right, guys, good. Number 12. Ooh, negative 3x plus 4y is 5. Now, I know that's some kind of linear relationship, but it's in more of a standard form than a slope-intercept form, right? An xy plane, which of these graphs is perpendicular to that one? Perpendicular, right? Well, the rule I remember learning for perpendicular is negative reciprocal slope. Is that what you guys learned too? Negative reciprocal slope, right? So I'm going to solve it that way, and then we'll look at, see if there's some kind of shortcut playing straight through a standard form, right? So I'm going to rearrange this as 4y equals 3x plus 5. That'd be true too, right? And then divide by 4. Y is equal to 3/4 x plus 5 over 4, right? You guys see the slope of the original line is up 3 over 4. Therefore, the perpendicular slope is equal to what? Negative 4 over 3, right? Negative reciprocal, right? Right. So answer choices, well, all the answer choices are in this standard form, but I'm kind of having a hunch that I think the answer might be C. So let me, in my mind, rearrange this and put it in slope-intercept form. Subtract over 4x, divide by 3. Wouldn't that have a slope of negative 4 over 3? Which is exactly what we're looking for, which is the answer. So 12 is C. 12 is C. Okay. Again, if you're like limited for time, you might have to do a process like that. Right. Now, let's go back to the beginning then, and directly compare and say, okay, in case you get this exact question, right? I see the coefficients on the x and y are -3 and +4. And what ends up being the answer is, you guys see how the coefficients are swapped, 4 and 3, and also one of them is negated. So instead of -3 and +4, now it's +4 and +3. You guys see that? Right. Okay, so maybe it's a shortcut to perpendicular. 13. System of equations has solution x, y. What is the value of y? Right? How many of you guys notice that the second equation is just a vertical line? Is that x equals 18? X equals 18. So there's one vertical line, x equals 18, and there's some other line that is something, so that they cross at 18 something. So 18 what? Right, we'll substitute in 18 right here. Guys, what is 18 divided by -3? -6. Right, now if I add 6 over to both sides, what is 6 plus 2? 8. So the answer is A. 13 is A. You guys got 13 is A? Number 14, community advocacy group recently polled 500 people at random in a small town and asked each person, are you in favor of the referendum to increase the property tax rate? 67% said no. Which of the following statements must be true based on the results of the poll? So they have 3 statements and which ones are true. Now I'm gonna do this one backwards. So let me spoil the answer. The answer they're looking for is D, none, okay? So 14 is D. Now let's look at the statements and think about why. Because I think I would have been tricked by this one. I actually like both statements 1 and 3, but they're saying none of the above. Right? So statement 1, if another 500 people selected at random, 67% of those people would say they were opposed, right? Now, I think that should be approximately true, but maybe this word must is doing a lot of heavy lifting. So they're saying, not close enough. No cigar. Statement 2, if 500 people from another town were polled, 67% of them would be opposed, right? Now, that's the one I would definitely say is not true, because different town might have different situation going on. So you definitely can't say that. Option 3, out of all the people in town, 67% of them would be opposed, right? Again, probably pretty close, but not close enough. All right, and here's the last one we'll do today. Number 15, system of inequalities. Which order pairs would land satisfies this condition? Now you could graph this and shape part of the graph, or you could go through one by one and see which one's going to satisfy. Let's do it that way. -3, -1. Guys, what's 4 times -3? -1, -13. Is -13 less than -1? Okay, so this, option A clears the first test. Now what about the second one? Is 2 greater than -3 plus -1? Yes, it is. So option A clears both of them. So the answer is A. Number 15 is A, right? Now, I know the bell's kind of ringing here in a few seconds, but if you go through the other choices, all 3 of these other choices would fail at least one of these conditions, okay? So 15 is A. All right, you guys good there? And so hold on to this grid. We'll keep grading on Monday, probably a little bit into Tuesday, and then eventually do that project. All right, you guys have a great weekend. Oh yeah, weekend.